DDO Players News is brought to you by the Easy Roller Dice Company. Check out EasyRollerDice.com for all of your dice needs. And don't forget to check out their brand new 1 pound bag of dice assortment. If you need some more dice, this is a great way to get it for only $14.95. But if you use our checkout code, DDO Players, all one word, you're going to save 15% off of that price. That's over at EasyRollerDice.com. And a big thanks for them sponsoring the podcast.
Good day, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going? Wow, you got really excited about that, Pine Leaf. I'm not sure why you got so excited there.
Well, after that long break, we have to...
Well, that's true, I guess. Keep the hype train going.
Yeah, we need to keep the hype train going. Unfortunately, there isn't too much in the news today because I get the impression that the team is busy on working on the other side of the table.
Could be. Or they're just all... Well, I guess there was only a few of them that went to Gen Con, so I can't even use the Gen Con excuse.
Yeah, there are probably a few on vacation. Maybe the DDO only people are on vacation, and the mix and the people that do both sides are probably working on Lotro since they're having an update soon. Let's head into our DDO Chronicle issue 295, where we have a green room. That's...
Yes, so we have a green dank cave surrounded by 3 Warforged. And I do believe this is in one of the newer quests.
Yes, unfortunately, I haven't memorized all those quests yet, so I'm not too sure which. It's certainly not kind of a big deal because I certainly don't remember Warforged in that one.
Can't remember which one that was from either because I've only ran them 2 times maybe. Elsewhere in our Chronicle, we have not a lot in the Chronicle either. In the news, I was going to talk about stuff there, but it's already passed because it was all... was the bonus days and the tomes that were available till the 12th. It's now the 13th, so unless you own a time machine, you're out of luck. So we'll move right into our community spotlight. We do have quite a bit of them. You can click over and check out the regular Friday night raid group that meets on Galanda. So if you happen to be on Galanda and you're looking to raid on Friday nights, I have your people for you right here. So click over and learn more about them. We got a shout out for our interview we did at Gen Con with our executive producer, Zeberlin. Also, Axel got a shout out for his interview he did with Sev and Cordovan, also at Gen Con, which I know when he did that interview, it was right after mine. So a favorite soul build guide is up by Unsinful. So if you're got a favorite soul and you're looking for some new builds, here you go. Okay, move into our fan site news section. Of course, Mickey is talking about rating. What else? She is now in week 83 of her rating schedule. So click over and read all about what Mickey has to say about that. Thrilling Heroics with Vegan Pants, of course, happens every week. So click over and watch the latest episode of that. Sip is blogging about a downtrodden kobold. And I actually haven't read this blog yet, so I'm not sure which kobold Sip's talking about.
What? Life of a downtrodden kobold. Ooh.
Gonna have to read that article because I'm not sure which downtrodden kobold he would be speaking of.
I don't know, but I'm sure that kobold sure hates you.
They always do, Pine Leaf. They always do. DDO Cast is up to episode 528. That is just remarkable to me. And that was on surviving Gen Con, sort of. With a twist. It was surviving Gen Con if you were the one left behind that didn't go to Gen Con.
Ah.
It was an interesting episode, so check that out. And another note about DDO Cast, it is on hiatus all through the rest of August, so it'll be September before another episode is up. Patrick is taking a much-deserved vacation, so no more new DDO Cast until September. DDO PL is running the Crystal Cove that happened last week, so you can see DDO PL, have some fun in there. And don't forget about Baklagor and his Fridays on Ice. Click over and watch his latest episode. We have our Chronicle comment, Pine Leaf.
All right.
What is your most favorite in DDO?
Most favorite in.
There's only one correct answer to this.
Oh, you mean... Well, if you're saying there's only one correct answer, then you must be talking about the portable hole.
No.
No, not the portable hole.
No. Blood on the Vine.
Where's Blood on the Vine?
It's in Ravenloft.
Oh, see, I can't even remember their name.
It's the first tavern you come to in Ravenloft.
Okay, yeah.
It's in it's in the village of Barovia. That is the only correct answer to this question.
Probably because you usually see the names of the other ones a lot more. So
That's true.
Forgot the name of Blood of the Vine. Oh, sorry about that.
Though out in Three Barrel Cove, the Salty Wench is always a good inn to go partake in some ale as well.
Well, I was thinking of some nice low-level bits, such as in the...
like Korthos?
Maybe not that quite that. I was thinking of the lobster. Let's see. The
Wayward Lobster?
Yeah, the Wayward Lobster
Yeah,
down at the harbor.
That's another good one, too. We can't forget our official screenshot of the week. It's the 377th DDO screenshot of the week, a Gnome Wizard Studies. That's a pretty sweet screenshot. Thank you to Cindrus for sending in this week's screenshot. Capture that just at the right moment.
Of course. So you get a screenshot of the week. Capture things at the right moment.
Exactly.
What's on sale this week? Anything nice and interesting? I mean, that hasn't expired because the summer days is over.
I guess it depends on how you play the game. 25% off Hearts of Wood, healing items, spell point potions, and quest XP elixirs. All on sale through August 16th. And then, of course, don't forget about our free sample of the week, which is a Lasting Supreme Ability Potion. You'll get 5 of those when you use the coupon code SUPREME, SUPREME, through August the 16th as well.
Now, when you say Hearts of Wood, does that include the ones you need for a TR?
That's exactly what they are.
So that means that if we're going to be TRing our characters eventually, we should be getting them when they're on sale?
We should, because they're 25% off. Always buy them when they're on sale.
Okay.
So
I
yes,
shall make a note to do that. And
I shall do that too, because I didn't even think about that. But you do bring up a very valid point, because we are at some point, I think that was our plan, is to get to 20 and then to TR down to 1 and start over. So yes. Hearts of Wood will be in our future.
Okie dokie. Then let's head out and see what's coming in from the dungeon. And it looks like that Joe Manganilio and Steven were discussing Dungeons & Dragons on the late night show.
They were, sure. Joe Manganiello was on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he was supposed to be on there to talk about his upcoming role in the Justice League movie Deathstroke. But yeah, that didn't quite happen.
Well, if he's going to wear death saves on his jacket.
Well, he's hyping his clothing line, so... But yeah, they ended up talking about D&D for probably about 10 minutes. I have linked the YouTube video so you can actually see the full conversation. It's pretty amusing, actually, because I am pretty sure half of the audience was like, what in the heck are they talking about? Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. And Stephen Colbert even said, this is going to alienate some of my audience, but I don't care. And then they go on, they talk about additions to the game, they talk about characters, and then they ended up even doing some death save rolls as well. So pretty fun conversation, and it's kind of cool to see D&D be so mainstream now, because 20 years ago this never would have happened. I mean, you never even would have mentioned the words D&D on TV 20 years ago probably. So it just shows how far we have come with Dungeons & Dragons. So yeah, check that video out. It's a pretty fun watch, and it's just funny because I'm just thinking half of the audience and half the people at home are probably thinking, what are these two yammering on about?
And the other half of them were cheering.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Let's then head out and see what's on the tabletop, and it looks like it's a number of interviews done related to tabletop. Well, we have first one to clean up from Origins, because it looks like you had a little bit of a leftover there from talking about Expedition role-playing card game.
Yeah, oops, sorry about that. Yeah, Origins happened, and then I moved, and I can pretty completely forgot about this video until I had grabbed my camera and I downloaded all of the videos off my camera from Gen Con, which I thought were all from Gen Con. And then lo and behold, there was this extra video on here and I'm like, what's this? And I watched it and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about an Origins video. So yeah. But yeah, this is what was a pretty fun interview. This is showing off a new card game that's out. It is called Expedition, and it is Dungeons and Dragons for I forgot how he worded it, for the lazy, or I forgot exactly how he words it. It's a card game that is a dungeon crawl, and it's really simple to set up, really easy to play. It uses an app. The app, of course, is the DM, so it is solo friendly, and the app does everything. But the app is, I've never seen them use an app quite like this to, when you're first setting the game up, if you to tell the app how many players there are, everybody touches the screen. So if only one person has their finger on the screen, it knows there's just one person. Or if two people have, there's two people touching, there's two. Or you could play, like two characters yourself if you put two fingers on or whatever. But I thought that was pretty cool how they're doing that. And then how
do you do that on Steam, or they're not going to support Steam?
It's not on Steam. It's only on tablets, and they don't have any plans to go to Steam.
Okay.
So, well, it will work on a phone as well. They were showing it off on a tablet at Origins. But yeah, watch the video, and I want to thank them for taking some time out because their booth was really, really busy. But yeah, it's called Expedition, the role-playing game.
Then let's head into our interviews that were conducted at Gen Con. And this first one, I have to admit that it looked like a company I probably didn't want to see the interview for.
I'm shocked, Pine Leaf. I'm shocked you didn't watch this video. Say it ain't so. Yeah, this video is not Pine Leaf friendly.
I thought so.
And I did put up a warning on the post and at the beginning of the video as well. There are adult themes, adult language, etc., throughout the video. The name of the company is called Games Adult Play. So that should give you a clue right there. Yeah, this is a new line of adult party games. The Games Adult Play company is actually an offshoot of Goliath Games. It is a new offshoot company that they created to release some adult party games. And we had a little chat with Allie, who is their communications director, and she showed off some of their newest games. And you can check them out in the video, and we go through some sample play of some of the games. And yes, adult situations do happen. So once again, you're warned if you're going to watch the video. I've also linked their website in the article up on DDO Players, and then links that you can order the games and look for full reviews of all of these games coming soon to DDO Players, because I got a stack full of games when I left their booth. So we will be having some adult party game reviews coming soon. Parental advisory suggested.
I suppose so. Then let's head to our next one, which is, what do you mean?
Another video Pine Leaf has not watched. Because yes, another video that is not Pine Leaf and kid friendly. Yeah, this is a new game, and I'll be honest, I've never heard of this game. And this was just like an impromptu video I did. I was just walking down one of the aisles in the vendor hall, and I seen a booth that had a bunch of people around it, and they were laughing. And I walked up, and I seen this game, and I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. And then I played a sample round, and I was busting out laughing. It was so funny. So I'm like, I gotta interview these people about this game. Yeah, it is a game called What Do You Meme? And the principle of the game is you will draw a meme card. So if you're familiar with memes on the internet, you will know the pictures from the famous memes on the internet, and then the judge shows that card to the players, and then the players have to pick a caption for that card out of their hand of cards. And then once everybody has their card, you flip them face up, and then the judge picks the funniest one. And again, adult situations happened. We played a sample round. It was so funny. I was laughing so hard at the actual answer that she chose as the winner. So you can check this out, and once again, I've linked their website, and you can order off of Amazon as well. But yes, What Do You Meme? And look for a review of this one also coming soon, because I left that booth with a copy of the game as well.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works out.
But it seems like that you left the best for last, because I hear that we are going to have Vampire the Masquerade Heritage Board Game.
Yeah, this is a brand new game that was announced by White Wolf, and they are going in cooperation with the board game publisher Nice Games Publishing GmbH. And this is, as you said, called Vampire the Masquerade the Heritage. So the word heritage should give you a clue. This is a legacy format game, and it's going to put vampire clan politics and historical manipulation in the forefront. Players are going to take on the role of an ancient vampire, shaping over 700 years of kindred and human history through political manipulation, subversion, secrecy, and everything like that. If you happen to find yourself at Spiel 18, which is happening in just a few months over in Germany, you're going to get your first look at this. Elsewhere, you're going to have to wait a while. But yeah, this is kind of cool. This kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't even know White Wolf was even thinking about doing a board game, and lo and behold, they're doing a legacy board game. Because why not? Because everybody loves legacy games, apparently. And they say gameplay takes about 20 to 40 minutes to play, and it's for 2 to 4 players. But yes, it's called Vampire Heritage, and it's a legacy game of clan politics. More information coming soon. As I said, they're going to show off the first public view of this at Spiel 18, which is happening in Essen, Germany in just a few, I think that happens late September, I think is when that is. And then we should be getting more information soon after Spiel as well.
Then let's go and see what's coming onto the screen. And it appears that there is going to be a Steam version of Gloomhaven.
Yeah, this was kind of another announcement that kind of came out of nowhere, but you should be very familiar with Gloomhaven if you're a tabletop game player. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's officially confirmed that Flaming Fowl Studios and Asmodee Digital are teaming up to bring Gloomhaven to the computer. It's headed for Steam at some point. This was announced over at Gen Con 2018. Where else? And the interesting thing is, as Asmodee Digital said, they're not trying to make a direct digital translation of Gloomhaven. This is going to be an adaptation of the game. And
well, you wouldn't want to do a direct port of it because Gloomhaven is a legacy style game, and I don't think with a campaign, and I don't think that would be ideal for the computer setting.
I totally agree with you. I'm glad they're going in this direction. And to make sure they do it correctly, they're working with the Gloomhaven creator, Isaac Childress, as part of this. The Asmodee and Flaming Fowl did say that the Gloomhaven video game will be a dungeon-crawling roguelike that aims to capture the experience and appeal of the board game. And it will be initially a single-player only game, essentially replicating Gloomhaven's random dungeon mode. But you'll also be able to unlock other things permanently as you play more. And then the plan is eventually to build out the whole campaign over the course of the development, and it's initially going to launch, as I said, over on Steam in early access. And Asmodee is saying they're looking forward to using the early access period to get feedback and ideas on what players want, and then they're going to see if they can take the players wants and import it into the game, and then eventually they might add some multiplayer, so it'll just be like the board game, more people can play. But right now, when it first launches, going to be solo only. But you can go ahead and watch it over on Steam, and you'll get updated when it's going to launch. They didn't give a exact date of when it's going to launch, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Gloomhaven finally coming to the PC, and maybe this is a way I can actually own Gloomhaven. That's what I was excited about. It's like, hey, I actually can own Gloomhaven now because I'm poor and I can't afford Gloomhaven.
Oh, well, maybe someday you'll get enough money to do so.
Someday, hopefully, someday.
Someday. So let us go into our week in gaming, and Drac, what all have you been up to?
Next.
Well, that was certainly an exciting week of gaming.
Yeah, I didn't have a good week. Didn't have a good week at all. We'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I didn't play anything. Nada. Zip, zilch, nada. To be totally honest, I didn't even turn my gaming PC on all week.
Ouch.
That's how bad it was.
Well then, yes, when you said you were busy on Wednesday, I didn't know you were that busy.
Yeah, I had the week from hell, and it continually got worse. by the end of the week. So yeah, no gaming for me, unfortunately. So I'm sure you did a ton of stuff to at least make this section worthwhile keeping in the show, right?
We will have to see about that. A lot of the stuff was in Minecraft.
I'm shocked.
I know. A lot of Lotro, a lot of Minecraft. And in Minecraft, where I was doing the Railroad Challenge, where I was building this village, and this week I built a church for the village, because the old village that I am moving had a church there, so I had to build a church here. Though I completely changed what the layout is for a Minecraft, because Minecraft has the pre-generated church and library and stuff like this, and I vaguely followed the idea of what they were doing for the butcher shop and a little bit for the library and all the stuff for the church. Now I just threw out the design that they have on the pre-generated one, did something completely different. I figured this was a village church, so therefore I decided light was going to be very important for this church. So I had it so that the sun, as it traveled through, would come in through glass all the way through. So I had a little fun creating this rainbow effect with that. Probably doesn't work nearly as well as in Minecraft as it would in real life, but that's what I did for the church in there. And then on the Elements series that I'm doing, I built a road to connect all the because I'm doing this build on this mesa of including all the planets that are related to names of elements. So I built a road so that you could travel for it, because I have on one end of this huge island, I've got the sun, and at the other end, of course, I'll have Pluto, and it's several hundred blocks from one to the other on the scale that I'm using. Then in tabletop gaming, I played Castle Ravenloft, and in Castle Ravenloft, it's time to do the Howling Hag, and this is a rather interesting one. I think I might have played this scenario once before in the past, but I've only played it once before, and I presume you remember that scenario quite well.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite scenarios out of the originals, I think.
Yeah, so therefore, in this one, you've got 25 tiles. 20 of them are, of course, shuffled in back, and then the four corner ones and the center one are pre-stated. And I started going around. The first monster I draw for the entire thing is the Howling Hag herself.
Well, that's handy.
Yep. So that sort of seems, okay, this is the type of round I'm going to have. And what's also was very inconveniently handy was that for, I believe, 2 of my first 3 attacks were nat 20s.
Wow.
At the point in the game when a nat 20 is completely and utterly useless.
Exactly. Oh, that's horrible.
There wasn't a d20 for the rest of the game that I recall.
Oh, jeez. That's horrible.
So I didn't have any d20s when they would have been useful. So therefore, I never leveled up during that particular round. But what I also had happened is that the hag and I kept missing each other during several parts of it. So I actually managed to get the 5 time tokens taken care of relatively quickly, considering that I was expecting to have to get to 1 turn in the middle, be popped away. 1 turn in the middle, be popped away, like that. But instead, I believe I had 3 consecutive turns in the middle at one point, and I already had 2 of the tokens off then. And so, okay, fine. Relatively quick to get that taken care. Now, killing the hag, though, was an entirely different matter. Because I told you that the hag and I had this habit of missing each other. And in fact, one of the things that kept on happening is that near the end of, that's right, what happened to the end? Here I was at a point I could now finish this. All I had to do was hit the hag. She would go down. Game would be finished. Everyone would be happy. 1.
Oh, jeez.
It must have been the 4th time I rolled a 1 trying to hit that hag. And of course, because this was at a point where I missed her on the previous turn also, I think, because let's see, what happened? Oh, no, now I remember what happened. Right, because I missed on the hag, and then I drew the encounter, because this is the stage of it where there are practically no spaces left in which to draw anything, and all the empty spots were next to traps. So therefore, I was, of course, getting encounters every turn. So I got the Prowling Ghost.
Oh, jeez.
which of course teleports you away
Yep.
with 2 monsters in the location where I went to. And that location was next to the crossbow turret.
Oh, my gosh. Could it have gone any worse for you?
Absolutely not. I believe that was the first time I went down as a result of that, because, all right, that was just painful there. I eventually got myself to a location that was between 2 traps but far enough away, and it might have been that I was able to then finally recollect myself, use the monsters in order to help collect myself while the witch was trying to catch up with me. And when the witch finally caught up with me, I was finally able to bash her skull in and take care of the rest of the game. But oh boy, yeah, rolling a 1 right at the end there, when I thought I could have ended it cleanly, and no. So that's how things went on their Castle Ravenloft. I did win it, but the dice were actually... Well, I have to admit, though, with the Howling Hag constantly missing me also, that probably balanced it out, because I'm sure I would have been popped over to other locations several times during that one and having to make these, okay, back to the center. Instead, I was being able to spend the end of the game kiting the witch, because I just move 1, she would follow. Move 1, she would follow. Move 1, she would follow. So she never could cast a spell on me. Then I finally got around, after that little article you had on the Steam edition of Gloomhaven, I thought maybe I should finally unpack my copy of that game. So I finally took it out, unpacked it, punched out those trillion or so tokens that come with it, and I'm going to have to find a good storage solution for that, because all of those tokens, especially the ones with the monsters in there, is you've got about 30 or 40 different types of monsters, and try and sort through them. Let's find this monster, this monster, this monster, and trying to find this. And I have all my monsters in a single container right now, and I've got to go and find my storage solution, find a good one where I could put all those, so I could have a much easier time looking through this.
Yeah, because, they do say unpacking and punching out Gloomhaven is a game within a game.
Oh, yes, it was that. And then I set up the first scenario, did all the preliminary stuff, learning the rules and all that fun stuff. Watched a couple of videos in order to help me to do that, because it's quite crazy as it is trying to figure out just from the rule book. It's not the best organized rule book in the world.
Yeah, I have heard that from several people.
Okay, at least not.
Yeah, no. I've heard that several times, that people are saying they really need to rehash the rulebook a little bit.
Yeah, I will agree with that sentiment, because I've had several times where I say, what is this and all this stuff, and nope. Okay, and then I make an assumption on something as, oh, I find out a completely different location. No, that's completely wrong. Yeah. So therefore, I'm getting to know the rules. I'm going through the first scenario, and of course, start out. Let's try a city encounter. They say that city encounters are easier than the road encounters. So I try out a city encounter, and I must have drawn the worst city encounter that exists in the opening 30, because that one was brutal. So I started out with that, with the most brutal encounter. Then I go into the road, and on the road, I read that encounter, and I say, I can see this a million miles away where this is going. And yep, they fall straight through the trope. And it was that because I could see where it was going, I was able to make the choice that was right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because sometimes, what happens is whenever you get an encounter, you read the encounter, and then you're always given a choice. So are you going to do A, or are you going to do B?
Oh, I see. Okay.
And sometimes you could get something. Sometimes, well, you might. Sometimes one of the choices has nothing happen. Sometimes one of them has something good. Sometimes one has something bad or something. Depending on. And I suspect that I'm going to run to some where you might have to have some contest or something like that. I don't know, in order to determine how it comes out. But looks like very much on what's going on, and there is going to depend upon which of the 2 choices you make. So that's something to keep in mind if and when you ever get a copy of Gloomhaven.
Hopefully one day.
Hopefully one day. So therefore, I was able to get through that and started the first scenario. I'm about halfway through it. I've got through the first room and all. and getting into the second room. And essentially, this round right now is getting to know what this thing is, because in this game, I guess you'll learn this when you do the Steam thing. In this game, when you take your turn, you draw from your hand of cards 2 cards to use on that turn, and then you use the top of half of one and the bottom half of the other.
Okay.
And you do have some flexibility in that you don't have to choose which one you do for the top and bottom for until it's actually your turn to do it. So at the beginning of the turn, you choose which 2 cards you have, but you could choose which one you'll do the top for, which one you'll do the bottom for when it's actually your action in there. And you always have the option of using a default one, because every single top one has a default of 2 attack, and every single bottom one has a default of 2 movement, which you could do in place of the more complicated maneuver that appears on the text itself. So that's nice and useful if you decide, okay, I don't think I want to waste this right now. I'll do the 2 move instead or something like that. So I'm starting to get an idea of how this all operates. And who knows, maybe I'll have some hope of actually getting through it alive. We'll see. Because here I am, because I'm playing it solo, I'm effectively running this at hard, because when you play it at normal, but at solo, you raise the level of all the monsters up by 1 level to feed the challenge up a little bit. So we'll see how that operates. I'll see whether I win, lose, or whatever if I get blown up, because I have another room and a half in which to get killed in. Or actually, exhausted is the word that they use here. You don't actually get killed.
Oh, you get exhausted?
You get exhausted. Yeah,
nice.
You're too tired to carry on, yes. So therefore, if all your characters become exhausted, then you lose this scenario. There are some other scenarios that may have other losing conditions, but that one is always a condition because, well, obviously if everybody's exhausted, they can't finish the victory conditions. So that's my first little taste of Gloomhaven. And we currently have 20 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. You'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And you can email Drac if you have any ideas of new and exciting patron rewards, and I will presume that because you're busy with the crazy week that you didn't have a chance to look at that yet, but you still have a little time to send some suggestions to drac@ddoplayers.com.
You do. I'm going to say about another week, and then you're going to see some changes on the Patreon. So
then let's get into our emails, which we don't have any, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Dracula @Dracula_72, and Pineleaf @PineleafNeedles. And you can follow Drac on Twitch @Dracula_72 when he isn't too busy at work, apparently. And the Players Alliance has 4 shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have Locho Players News every other Thursday at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have XP Quest, and on the first Tuesday of each month at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Chromatic Bits. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And remember that DDO Players News is brought to you by Easy Roller Dice Company, and you can use the coupon code DDOPlayers at checkout to save 15%. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.